All right, I wanted to show you the final step when you create your app, how to put it in the App Store. So here's the app I've made, and I've made it in Xcode. It's called Setlist Supervisor, and it's for bands. So you've got all your songs that you can play here, for instance, and how fast they are, and how long they are, what album they're off of, and you can put together your own set list. So, for instance, you might be playing a concert and you only get 30 minutes to play. Well, this is a way to enter the time when you're starting and stopping, and make sure that your set list is within those boundaries. Also, when you play the show, your set list will start and it'll be green, and then if you look down, you'll know what song is next and what songs you've played. But once your time is done, it'll go red. That way you don't go over time, because you don't want to upset the other bands when you're playing. So again, this is Setlist Supervisor, and I've made it in Xcode. And the whole purpose of making this app for me was to learn Swift UI, Swift's new Apple's new protocol for our new way of making apps, basically a new syntax for making apps. But I've gone through that process, and I might make a video on Swift UI, but I've gone through that process, and now I've got the app, and it's time to make it in the App Store. So you open up this website called App Store Connect. Okay, appstoreconnect.apple.com, and log in. If you don't already have a developer account, this is when you'd have to sign up for the developer account. It's $100 a year, and until you want to release it in the App Store, you don't have to sign up for this. You can create apps all you like, but this is the stage where you actually want to post it to the App Store. And you'll see after I've logged in, I've got some apps that I've already got live. The green means they're ready for sale and they're in the App Store, and some that might be under production. In this case, Setlist Supervisor is not one of these, so you've got to create a new one. You hit this little plus sign here, and it's going to be a new app. And it's made in iOS, and it's called Setlist Supervisor. The language, the primary language, you choose that now. And the bundle ID. So bundle ID is something that associates your app with the Xcode project. So what you might want to do is look over in the Xcode project and see if that's listed over here already. So let's see, Setlist iCloud, bundle identifier, com.hobjoblin.setlist. Typically the bundle ID is your website, hobjoblin.com is mine, in reverse, and so it's like a unique identifier, com.hobjoblin.setlist. So yours might be com.google.setlist, or whatever your app is associated with. So in this case, this is it, and this is what I'm looking for over there. See if I can find it. Might be there, might not. We've got a bunch of other stuff here. So this might be it here. Oh, here we go, com.hobjoblin.setlist. Select that. SKU, we'll just make up a SKU number. So we'll call it setlist 01 and create. Okay, so here we go. Now it's created. Now if we go back to my apps, it's created a new placeholder for Setlist Supervisor here. And it's going to want some information. This is where you'll enter your privacy URL, and you need to enter this every time you submit a new app. So you'll need to have a website basically, and on your website put a privacy policy. And then just copy this link, and this is just something I found online, and I copy and pasted the privacy policy. I changed it just a little bit, there you go. So paste in the privacy policy there. A subtitle, optional subtitle. So Setlist Supervisor might not be obvious what it is, so your subtitle might be band set list creation tool, Or let me see what I've got. I wrote some copy here, some text. Setlist Supervisor is the premier setlist generator for musicians who want to craft the perfect setlist for their band. And it goes on and talks about it. But so maybe we'll put premier setlist generator for musicians. That could be too long. This kind of stuff you can customize to your heart's content. And so premier setlist generator. Let's do that for now. And typically, sometimes you don't want the same word here and there, but because you want to optimize your search. So I might look into fixing that. All right, I'm going to click Save now, and that'll save what I've done here. Now, click down here, and this is where you enter all of your images and your copy. Now, unfortunately, you have to create all kinds of screenshots of your app in Action in different sizes. And a good way to do that is in Xcode. So in Xcode, you can choose different devices here. You choose the device, launch your app, and then take screenshots of that. That's going to take quite a while, so I'll probably pause and do that later. But for now, I'm going to put the description and promotional text in here. So description is the copy that I wrote, like all this stuff here. I'm going to copy that, paste it here. Promotional text is like a short version, see, like 170 characters. So maybe this just this top thing. If it lets us, see how much of this it lets us paste in there. Nope, way over. All right, let's just do that first sentence then, see if that's good. Okay, keywords. Here's something about keywords. So I've already created a list of keywords here, and there'll be one single words separated by a comma. Now, one thing that I didn't do here is you actually don't want the space. So you get rid of all the spaces here, because then you get extra characters. And the more characters you get, the more letters you get, the more keywords you can get, and the easier it is for people to find your app. So go through and delete all these spaces. And the other thing is you don't necessarily want duplicate words. It doesn't help you to have the same word here as your app title. So paste this in here, but when we look at it, our app is already called Setlist Supervisor. So we don't need the word setlist or supervisor in here. So let's get rid of that one. I think the rest is probably okay. I'm going to leave set and list separate just because it looks like this last one didn't even fit. Let's see, what else is there? Maker, what's after maker? Edit, print, share, alert. Maybe print would be a good word. See if I can fit share. No, I can't. So you get the idea. You want to optimize your words there. Support URL, you got to put some support URL in there. And so if someone wants to contact us, they can go to our website here and contact us. Marketing URL, the ones with the question marks are kind of optional. You also want to make sure that, like everything is spelled correctly. You don't want to have some spelling errors. I'm going to save so I don't lose my work here. And now you'll notice down below it's going to say upload your build. So the final step after I've added the app icon, so you want to choose your app icon. And I usually go to a website, and let me pull that up for you. But basically, I submit 3,000 pixel by 3,000 pixel image, and it resizes everything to the perfect size that App Store Connect wants. So I realize I'm bouncing around here a little bit. So again, you're going to need some screenshots. There's also screenshot generator websites out there, but the App Store, let me see if I can find the app icon. Yeah, here's the one I go to, appicon.co, and you upload one image, and it resizes it for all these things and spits out like a little folder for you to import into your app. Okay. Now, once you get this, and we'll give it a copyright 2020. And we don't need to sign in. Actually, sometimes you do need to sign in. This one does use CloudKit, so I might give them a custom sign-in account here where they can sign in and test it. Down here, you can automatically release it, or you can manually release it when it's approved, if it's approved, because all this has to go through Apple first. So again, there's the screenshots I'll put in there in a second, and I'm going to hit save here. Now, build. So right now the code isn't in here, your actual app code isn't in here. But what you have to do for this part is very important. You go over to Xcode, and now if everything is set up correctly here, with your signing and your certificates and all this stuff, you might need to choose your team and fiddle around with this until it's all lined up. I might have to show you how to do that someday. But basically your team should be here. Then you go to, first you select generic device. You don't want to try to archive it to your phone or a simulator. So you choose generic device and then archive. And what that's going to do is it's going to pack up this whole thing. And then once it's packed up, you can upload it to CloudKit, or to App Store Connect. And once you upload it to App Store Connect, it takes a while to process, but it should show up, like a little plus sign should show up here, where you can select which build you want to associate with this submission. Okay, now I'm going to click this distribute button and see what happens. It might reject it. You might have to fiddle with your sign-in credentials, and I'm going to choose upload to the App Store. You can also export and sign without uploading it, but 9 times out of 10 I'm uploading it to the App Store at this point. I suppose the other way would be if you're trying to distribute it locally to your company. Click next. Automatically manage the signing. Unless you have to do something fancy there. Private key is not installed. Contact the creator to get a private key. So I'm going to manage the certificates and try to get my private key here. All right, looks like I got my private key done. I clicked around in a bunch until it gave me the private key. There we go, that's what we want. We want that green check mark. So Setlist Cloud, and that's just the file name. That's because I didn't know what I was going to call it. My actual project is called Setlist Supervisor, but this is the file name. Is successfully uploaded. Monitor the status of your app on App Store Connect. That's where we were. So I'm going to hit done, and you'll go back over to App Store Connect now, and you can hit refresh here. And 100% it's not going to show it listed here yet because it just takes forever for it to process. But now's a good time for us to work on these screenshots here. Let's double check. Yeah, see, it's not here yet. You just got to wait and wait and wait and wait. And eventually, like hours from now maybe, there'll be a little plus sign here. You associate the build. Then you upload all your screenshots for all the different devices. And then you submit it for review. And then Apple will take a look at it and see if they like it in their store or not. The other thing we missed is this pricing and availability. So here's where you have to choose how much you want to sell it for. You can choose 99 cents, $1.99. I'm going to give this one away for free, and that's that. All right, it's been some time, and now you'll see there's a little plus sign here. I uploaded some screenshots. I don't know if I uploaded enough. Sometimes you just need the large ones and it lets you get by with those, or sometimes you need more. So I'm going to click this little plus sign under build here, and there it is. There's 1.0.1. So select that, done. Now it's attached. I'm going to click save. I would go through now and double check the promotional text and the description and the URL. Actually, all this stuff you can change while Apple is reviewing your app. So I'm going to go ahead and see if it lets me submit it now or not. So I'm going to go ahead and see if it lets me submit it now or not. I did also provide them with the username and password down there. Nope, there's issues. So let's see what the issues are. You must select a primary category for your app. Okay, so let's see here. Music tools, music utilities. Maybe that makes sense. I'll look through these and see if it matches. Okay, now it's got music utilities. I think that's right. I might change that later. Hit save. Now I'll go back to my 1.0 build 1. And now let's see if it's happy with that. Submit for review. More errors. Yep, it wants these two screenshots also. So you gotta flip through. All right, such is life. Let me take some time and export some new screenshots. Again, you do that in Xcode. And unfortunately, they don't tell you exactly which type of device. So you always have to Google like which device matches 5.5-inch display. Pretty sure that's the 8 Plus. So you'd go in here and you'd select 8 Plus. I also have to, when I launch my simulator, I have to log into the cloud account so that it pulls up the all the data. You know, so I don't want them seeing a blank screen. I've added some custom songs and whatnot in it. Okay, after some finagling, we've got images for each of these now. And just so you know, the 3rd generation and 2nd generation iPad Pro is the same exact pixel size. So as long as the functionality is the same between the 3rd and 2nd generation, you can use the same screenshots. I'm going to click Submit for Review and see what happens. More errors. And this constantly happens. There's always something, right? Let's see what the errors are. Okay, so this time it wants age rating and it wants some contact information. So we're going to provide those two things. There's no violence. No. None of this stuff. It's not necessarily made for kids, but kids can download it. Okay, I'm going to put my name in here. And I'm going to pause and put my phone number in here. Okay, I've made those changes and clicked save. Now let's see what's next. Okay, it's going to ask you some compliance questions. No, it's not designed to use cryptography. Does your app contain or show any third-party content? No. Does it have an advertising identifier? No. Ooh, waiting for review. Okay, so that's like really one of the last steps. Now we can still edit the search terms and stuff. Once it goes live, though, I don't think you can edit those. You have to wait for a new version. And now we wait. Our app is waiting for review, and it'll either be rejected or it'll be approved. If it's rejected, then no big deal. You do whatever it is Apple suggests you do. I'll maybe make a second video with the next stage of this process.